Welcome. Welcome. So, yeah, Mr. Chat is back again, and Mr. Terminal is as well. So, copy fail to Electric Boogaloo. So, right. So let's go into Faith and let's actually see what's going on. So last time we created the let's actually put the chat here. Last time we kind of created the Vulkan graphics pipeline, and I now got it to work. It was very easy. I think I just forgot to, yeah, here. I forgot to actually specify the layout that we created. Why? And that's why it was basically giving us the errors. Yeah, like, let's see, cargo run release. Let's see. So what I want to do today is basically we're using something like set uniform 1i, and set uniform 1i is used in a way in OpenGL that by the way, let's turn on music. But let me first do that to 17. MPV shuffle dot. That's still way too loud. Oh. Did I actually hello? No, it doesn't change anything. All right. So, yeah. So what I wanted to do is you can see in UI renderer that we do set uniform 1i to set the texture array, and this set uniform 1i thing is essentially what is being done in here. So we kind of need to know the uniforms that you want to set in Vulkan at pipeline creation time. And I'm figuring that we should probably just put that into the pipeline description. And then, yeah, we should do that. Yeah. All right, so let's try to do something like pub struct. So I'm C developer, am I right? Uniform binding. And we're going to say it's going to have a binding location, which is like U32. And we're gonna have a name, which is not a char pointer actually. I think it's a string in Rust. So binding location name and probably like a type, you know what I mean? So let's have an enum. How do I do enums in Rust again? Like this, okay. I think we want to have that. So let's have something like uniform binding type, and let's have it be like, what are we needing? We kind of need a vec2, and we kind of need a uniform sampler, let's say a sampler 2D array. So those are the only ones we actually need. So let's have a type ty uniform binding type, and that's our uniform binding. So let's actually have a pub uniform bindings, which is just a uniform binding. And okay, I'm hallucinating again. Okay, so it's a uniform bindings, and yeah. So let's implement it in OpenGL first. So we should probably just be able to say something like in create pipeline. Here. So I think so we don't bind the program, right? So can I use pipeline? Or let's just say self, let's say GL. Where's our GL actually here? GL dot self GL. So self.gl dot use program unsafe. Expected option, so some program or what? Right, okay, and do I do this? No. So we're going to use this program to bind, to actually set uniform 1F. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right, so let's do this. So this is our kind of central thing, right? Is the stream off? Hello? I think it works. I am hallucinating. Kokra is a hyper-realistic AI robot. Confirmed? I think it might be. Like, what is something weird with the stream, or is it just YouTube being a billion-dollar corporation again? No, it's actually something with my internet, I think. Do you have window showing yet? Yes, yes, of course, man, of course. What do you think of me? Yeah, I think the stream seems to be fine. I think the stream seems to be fine. Can I show you the window is the question. I mean, if you stick around for like another 5 minutes, I think, yeah, I can show you the window. So let's put that into an entire like unsafe block, right? And let's have then let's basically go through desk desk dot, I think it was like word bindings, uniform bindings. Okay. Why doesn't that work? Bro, I'm insane. Like, I don't know. I don't really program in Rust, so I do a little bit of a oopsie doopsies, as what's his name? Sorting might say. Okay, uniform in the uniform buffers. For each uniform, we want to get the uniform location. So uniform.name .toString. Do we need to owned? There's actually not a thing called. Why is it always loading the stream, man? What is happening, man? I don't know. I think it's just a bug, because I didn't really see any. Is it because it's not public? Could this be the case? Let's see. Yeah. Uniform.name, can we just do that? And then without that? Do I do two owned? I don't know. Two owned? We kind of need to match the types. So we're going to match uniform TY. Welcome, Metal Ninjas. So we're going to match uniform TI, and we're going to say, you're streaming a lot recently. Yeah, I am, because I got my channel back, and it's just the dopamine, you know? Because like my channel has been terminated for, like, the reason is something you can, yeah, I don't know. It's not really, there's no real reason. Like, I don't really know the reason. But anyway, like, it got terminated, and now I'm pretty happy that I'm that I have it again. So I'm streaming, yeah. Right, so, okay, if it's a... Wait, let me see. So I'm wondering, in OpenGL, what you kind of do is you set the uniform 1i of the name, which is U texture array, to a value that is 0. But the value is kind of the same thing as the binding in Vulkan. So should we basically have a binding location and a value? Or should we only have a binding location? I think for all purposes, it's okay to just have the binding location be the same thing as the value. For now. Because I think we shouldn't over-engineer this for no reason at all. It's not even like a performance reason or anything like that. So let's just do it like this. But in fact, we need something like a XY. Copyright issues, your channel got temporary. It's not because of copyright issues, no. It's not. They said it's because of band circumvention. Like, this is the official reason. But band circumvention is like... yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, I didn't circumvent a ban. I didn't use this channel to circumvent a ban. I was never banned. So they unterminated me because it was basically an AI, like an AI automation thing. Like the AI just decided to ban this channel, you know? They are like, they have all of those LLMs, they feed them with data, and it saw that I did something weird, maybe, I don't know what. And yeah, it just decided to terminate the channel entirely, right? So I think in Vulkan, is there something like unions in Vulkan? But I don't think it's even a good thing, because of course each uniform has different data, you know? For example, you can have a vec3 uniform, vec2 uniform. So how do I want to basically store those values? I don't know. Are you from Russia? I'm not from Russia, no. AI watchdog slob for real. Billion-dollar corporation AI tries not to fail. Horrible. Billion-dollar company AI tries to not fail horribly. Challenge. Impossible. Like, I don't know how there's a word for this in German. In Klammern. Like, it's in Klammern, and it's very cool to say. Just like as a joke, but in English there's no word for that, so it basically means in parentheses, but that is not like something that I want to say, you know? So I don't know if there's like a thing in German and English for that. Okay, so do we want a something like a vec2, and then we have a Or I think let's just have something like a data, and it's just going to have 4 at most. I think that's okay. And maybe it's going to be f data, right? I think this is okay. And then we'll just do something like uniform.fdata at 0, uniform.fdata at 1. All right, works. And then for the sampler, we simply do uniform 1, uniform I 32. I'm just noticing. Wait, am I noticing something? I think I am noticing something. Like in OpenGL, but it's okay. It's okay. Is it? It's okay. Yeah. So the things in OpenGL and also in Vulkan, you like in OpenGL specifically, you don't need the uniforms at pipeline creation, right? So you don't need to know about the uniforms. but you definitely want to update them in the course of the program and each frame, kind of like a lot of them. For example, the screen size. And at this point, you only need to know the uniforms at this point, right? So you don't need to know it at pipeline creation. So for OpenGL, this thing is kind of redundant, but for Vulkan, it's not, because you have to specify the pipeline layout, right? So I'm thinking this kind of does make sense. We might as well completely ignore the uniform bindings. But then on the other hand, it's okay to use it, because then we don't have to do this, right? And I think it might be it's not like it's kind of unnecessary, but we have to implement it in OpenGL as well, just to get the the backends basically behaving in the same manner. So let's do it, right? It's like a bit weird. What we can do to basically make this simpler is say something like use our own functions if we can. Can we not? Self.set uniform. I'm dumb. I'm just dumb at yeah. But this is actually fine, is it? Yeah, let's no, I think this is better like this. So let's match. Let's actually so what was that? This wait. Okay. Yeah, we can remove that. Theme name, it's Groovebox, but I changed the background, I think it was 171717. No, because then is it? I think it's 060606. Yeah, 060606. Right. All right, so we will match the thing, and you just had music in your folder, Russian music. That's why I assumed you were from Russia. Yeah. I just like Russian music, I'm honest, yeah. To be honest. Can you please tell me what config you have in nvim? It's nvchad. Yeah. Okay, so for evac2, let's say self.set uniform to f. And the pipeline, right? So I think this is maybe why I didn't want to do that. But what we can do is do something like pipeline is equal to that. But then in Vulkan, I think if you do in Rust, I think if you do this, you kind of are not able to use it again. Do I just clone it then? Okay, so let's say uniform.name, uniform dot data at 0. It is Groovebox. I think I might even because it's asked so many times. And vchad, and what else? Yeah, I think that's like the main thing we want. All right. So f-data at 1. This. Yeah, and then we can kind of not do that because... So can we just say pipeline.clone.iter? Why .iter? Okay, let's say... So it's pushing option, but can I not clone? Why can I not clone that? Is it because this it doesn't implement clone? Yeah, okay. All right, so let's have this implement clone and copy, I think. So let's say clone and copy. So pipeline.clone should now work. Found option GL pipeline. Ah, great. Okay, so you actually don't need the GL pipeline. Yeah, that's kind of obvious. So do we want to say let pipeline, so pipeline is equal to pipeline handle. Okay, pipeline. And we say clone. And that. So this raises the question. Oh yeah, true. You put so much energy into making NeoVim feel like VS Code. It feels like VS Code, but it's faster. I have Vim. It's faster. It's faster. I'm not being spied on. Yeah. So it's like VS Code, but you can't really compare it to VS Code anymore, to be completely honest. So what the thing is that it raises the question to why didn't I do that earlier? I wasn't when I programmed this file, I was doing Rust for like 2-3 days. Like this was the first thing I basically implemented. So I think borrowing here is like the best move, right? So I think I should have done that. I mean, you shittified NeoVim lol, but just joke, haha. Yeah, I think it's let me quickly. I think it's how do I say that? Bro, I forgot the word. Like it's okay. It's like at a point where the shittification isn't like at the point where I would say it's bloat, because because NV chat is not bloat, right? I mean, it starts in like a few milliseconds. You don't have to wait and load shit. There's no telemetry. There's no extensions. There's not a thing telling you should use an LLM. There's not like any it's just like, I don't want to rant about that because it's like so obvious to me, but yeah. Okay, so let's actually have the binding location here. As I32. Nice. It's visually bloated. Yeah. What font are you using right now? It's Lilacs. That's a good one. Font. Lilacs nerd font. So let's just say Lilacs nerd. Do you use NVChat or LazyVim? NVChat. Right, so this is basically how we implement uniform bindings in OpenGL. And then we will essentially say let uniform bindings is equal to vec uniform binding consisting of binding location 0. And then can I say default? How can I default shit? Can I just derive default? Let's see. Default. Make this variant unit. Ah, okay. So let's have the default by placing on it. So do you mean I want to say something like hashtag default? Right, so I want this to be the default. So I might as well put it up here. Ah, you can't, bro, you can't. Oh my god, you can't see the terminal. So how am I going to solve this issue? So the thing is, let's, why didn't you say anything earlier, dude? For real. So now you should be able to see it. You are. How are you liking Rust so far? Okay, the font's still a little too small. Average comment. Rust is cool, yeah. But it's also kind of not cool. It's okay. It's okay. Can I say default, default? Thank you. And then I want, so that's the binding location. So, hello. Can I not get any autocomplete, please? Can I get any autocomplete, maybe? So, binding location, name. Like, why is that? Bro. Am I dumb? Like, am I not using that correctly? Try naming a field name. So why didn't that work? So it's just not working. Okay. Why is LSP still an unsolved problem? Like in software engineering? Why can't... Real talk. So can I actually use that now? Am I dumb? Like what? Is it because of that? That's insane. Okay. So uniform, do you have experience with C++? No. Can I not use it? Thank you. What the fuck? Why does I say no? Like, I have experience with C++. I made many projects in C++ actually. So where's that defined? I think. In where? In renderer? Where did I put that? Coming C++, Rust feels so nice. Yes. No. Okay, it's here. The enum is defined here. Thank you for telling me. I think I might need to export it. I'm not sure. Should be the case. Okay, so can I now sampler array missing structure field? So let's just say that. Okay, so this should do effectively the same thing as this. Yeah. So the uniform bindings is going to be uniform bindings. So let's just say this. Yeah, we need to clone them because Rust is Rust. Alright. So uniform bindings. And the method clone exists for struct, but its trait. We're not satisfied. So what? So I think you mean that uniform binding is not clonable. So let's say clone copy. All right, so now we have the uniform layout. And we should also add a uniform binding to use screen size. So screen size. And binding location is kind of like obsolete, you know what I mean? So screen size. I think binding location is not, we're not gonna stick with that. No. We're gonna use values. So let's quickly change that in device.rs. We're going to have iData consisting of i32s that we can just set. And binding location is just not going to be used. This trait doesn't implement copy string. What? For real? Okay, then let's not do copy. Sorry. So let's say in here we don't have a binding location, and we say iData is going to be zero, essentially 0, 0, 0. Let's make iData just be an i32, because I don't feel like we are going to ever need more than one I. So 0, and yeah. Okay. Okay, so and in here we have this, but here we now need to say uniform.idata, and we can drop the as i32, and we are basically fine with that. And then we can say here something like fdata is screen width, screen height as f32, and then 0, 0.0, 0.0. So that's basically the screen size, right? And yeah, okay. I think the rest should stay the same. So let's try and do a OpenGL run, right? Am I right, guys? OpenGL run. Are you ready? Okay. Doesn't work, of course. Right, so we're getting 70 microseconds for the layout of this thing. So that's good. That's looking good. That's looking great, in fact. That's some peak performance, I might say. So this works. So now let's do the Vulkan part. Fuck my life. Okay. So we will want to, in fact, like, okay. Bro, I don't Okay, so let's see, where's our combined image sampler? We should specify stages. I'm using free type, yeah. So let's have uniform binding uniform. And the stage, I don't know, let's say default is like vertex, and then we have fragment. And then we say stage is uniform. Let's say binding shader stage. All right. So that's a stage, and so yeah. Okay. So okay, the bindings is get vertex. Okay. So what is word bindings? That's the bindings, yeah. And then we do this, okay. And then we do the vertex input state, okay. Then we do the range. It's the push constant range. So that's kind of what we're talking about. But then there's this fucking issue where there's a separation between push constant, which are essentially uniforms, and texture binding, which is also a uniform. So there's some kind of issue. So okay, what we should probably do. Okay, what we should probably do is okay, we have a size and stage flags. Okay, so here we just need to specify the size. We don't set it yet. So let's say the size is just Saber 1776. Yeah, that's based. Yeah, I think that's based. That's also cool, right? Let me see how. Okay, we want something like 4 uniform. Let's call it 4 push constant in pipeline dot in desk dot uniform bindings. So for each push constant, which we are basically treating the uniforms binding as push constants. Why are you using Ash instead of web GPU? Because I want to use native Vulkan. Yeah. Okay, so uniform binding is the PC. So can we say PC dot so we need to kind of emulate the size. Yeah. Okay. So we kind of need to say something like something like that. For example, a vec2 is just two floats. Can I say size of f32 and then let mute push constant size, so let's say PC size is 0.0, and then PC size, then we match PC.ty, and then we say uniform binding type vec2. We are going to say pc.size is plus equal size of f32 times 2. And then when we have a sampler to the array, we want to say I32 times 1. Easy size. Okay, we're gonna read the values. So let's say size is PC size. And let's say PC size is a U32 from the beginning. Mismatch types. Can I say as U32? Nice. All right, so that's the push constant size right there. Okay, and then we need to kind of specify the bindings. And I think, let me check co-render. I think we do not need to have a so-called, what's it even called? Descriptor set layout binding. Descriptor set layout binding. N set bindings. Okay, but this is not done for push constant, like it's a completely different thing. Right, so yeah, so let's just do it for uniform samplers then at this point. So let's say for binding in desk.uniform bindings. Yeah, but the sampler doesn't contribute to the push constant as well. So let's say in any other case, we want this kind of thing. Yeah. All right, so this should work. And then in uniform bindings, can I not? I think I need to do that maybe like this. And then we say we basically want to match the binding dot type. I think we don't want to match it actually. I think we don't need to. Okay, so and then say bindings probably already exists somewhere. So let's say desk layout bindings is equal to vec new. And for each binding, we essentially will do a desk layout bindings dot push this. And then we will say that we kind of want to match the type, right? So yeah, let's just match. Is this neovim? Then we kind of want to match binding.ty, and if we have a sampler to the array, we will say combined image sampler, and in any other case, we kind of want to anyhow bail. Like, it shouldn't even work, because we should say something like if binding type is yeah, that's, should we use a match basically in like in there? Let's just do it like this. So if the binding type is not equal to a combined image sampler, we want to continue, and the combined image sampler is like this, should not exist, or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, that's basically the type, right? So we cannot compare descriptor types. We actually can. What the fuck? I mean uniform binding type sampler to the array. I'm sorry. Okay, no, this EQ, partial EQ, think like that, just like that. What do you think of status of software engineering because of AI? I don't know, like, I think LLMs are not really inherently a problem for the software engineering. Like, I don't really see that. But maybe like some in the business market, there have been definitely changes. But I think software engineering is not, like, should not be, you should not use LLMs to do your software engineering just because LLMs exist. And I don't think that if you don't use them, you're automatically going to be at a competitive disadvantage, because they are simply just another way of checking out code bases, stochastically analyzing them, or doing any sort of analysis on them, then pasting stuff from those code bases into your own code base. But it's a little bit improved. So I think it's like there is definitely some value to that in some circumstances, but like I watch like I would say I have the same kind of view like as Casey Moratory on that topic. So you can watch the Casey Moratory podcast. I think he did some kind of podcast with a person that I don't know the name from. I basically have the same opinion. I've always had that. Yup. Bro, I just test your theme in VS Code. Really cool. Thank you, man. But it's not my theme, so but okay, yeah, thank you. So let's say bindings and desk layout bindings. Cannot bore cancel. Yeah, mute. Okay, and binding is going to be binding dot okay, I remember. Why Rust and not C++ for the project? Because why not? Doesn't matter. Really doesn't. Okay, so binding and descriptor count is always 1. Stage flags is basically match binding stage, and then uniform binding shader stage vertex. We want to have a vertex and fragment. A fragment. Looks like a fun project. Thank you. So right, this should be correct. So then we have all of those bindings, and the len should be correct. This should be correct. Create a scripter set layout. How long you play with Rust? Like I use Rust for since like now 1 week actually. Yeah. Okay, so the desk layout, we create that correctly. And what about our vertex attribute? Okay, yeah. Push constant ranges and set layouts is also correct. And the push, okay, so this should still work. Right, so this should work. This should sizes. This should not work. So to actually allocate the descriptor sets, we kind of need the sizes, right? So let's have a desk. I think it's called sizes. Descriptor pool size. So desk pool sizes. New subs. You mean let you subscribe to me? If yes, then thank you very much. And if you mean that I have more subs, then also, yeah, cool. Yeah, I know. Like, cool. Consider giving desk pool sizes an explicit type. Okay, I don't want to consider that. So desk pool sizes, right? So we're going to just say desk pool sizes dot push, and then let's say sizes like that. So okay, so okay, yeah, this makes sense. And then we will say the type, so let vk type is equal to this, and then the descriptor type is just vk type. Doesn't matter. I like your attitude. Yeah, it's like it's true. It's just true. Okay, so let's say the type is the vk type. What's up, Anshk03K? What's up? Welcome to the stream. Right, so those are the desk sizes, the desk layout bindings, and stuff like that. So this should work. Desk layout info, sizes, right? So, and then the pool info will take desk. All good, sir. Man, what about you? I'm good. Very good. As always, desk layout sizes. What? Disk pool size Opera, yeah. What editor? Yeah, Envim. There are people asking this question and all those questions so many times that I have that now. Yeah, it's basically anti-engagement farming. Like putting this into here, but whatever. I'm sick of answering that question all the time. So yeah, should be good. So let's see if we have done everything correctly. Okay, so let's now actually say we have that at binding 0. And let's try Vulkan still compiles. Duplicated at p binding 0. Okay. Why does that happen? So p bindings. Desk layout bindings. So desk layout bindings is duplicated for some reason. Okay. Ah. Okay, so this seems wrong as well. So the shader stage for the push constant, is it talking about that? I think it's not. Or is it p stages? Wait, so it's talking about VK descriptor set layout binding stage flags, right? So stage flags. Okay, so because we didn't specify the stage flag and it defaulted, so let's say stage is uniform shader stage. Hello, fragment. Yeah, finally, it worked. It in fact worked. So let's go with the binding idea. I think it's better for now. So let's say we have iData is done. Binding. Right, so now we can implement everything else, but I think I'll end the stream here actually. Today it's a short one. What's the time? Yeah, I'm already like the time is already pretty advanced for me because I don't have that much time today. Let's actually like just for the engagement bait on YouTube, let's just let it be 1 hour. Am I right? So let's say copyright baits. Yeah, maybe that's why my channel got terminated. I hope it's not because I don't want it to be terminated again.